Okay, we're going in 20. In 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. We're excited to be finally on the air. We had a demonic attack on Miss Dyer's internet, and we just want to praise God for the prayers of Dr. Fife, who chased the demons away. And we're on the air. We're excited to be on with you, and we appreciate your patience in allowing us just a few extra minutes to come on the air. And we're happy today that we have this opportunity to share with you some exciting information from the Word of God that relates to our money. Because Jesus said that He came that He wanted us to have abundant life, and He wants us to live in abundance. And you can't do that in America without some money. And so we're just happy to have with us Miss Tasha M. Dyer, our individual who came up with God gave her the vision for the strategies that we use from day to day as we invest in the market. And Dr. Craig Byfoot, he's absolutely the brilliant man who is the brains of our outfit, and we depend on him for the intellect that we need to move forward. And we're excited that he's with us today. Our visionary, Dr. Rogers, is not with us. I don't know where he is. He didn't report to the poor little bishop. He don't know. The bishop just have to find, as usual, the preacher's the last one to find out what's going on. And so nobody told me. And so, sometimes I found out people were dead. Everybody thought I already knew, but I didn't know. I had a funeral to do. I didn't know the person was dead. And so, try to update your pastor and let him know what's happening in the church community, because we always are the last one to discover what's going on out there. And so we're just happy that we have this opportunity today as we look at Matthew's chapter 13 and verse 11 and the following verses. And Ms. Dyer, you want to say hello to everyone before we get started?
Yes, I do. Hello. And Bishop, I'm not going to talk about the shade that you're throwing out on our missionary right now. We're not going to talk about that. But let me say hello to our listening audience. Let me say hello to each and every last one of you all. Wow, I'm just excited to be here with you all. Another week, another moment, another time. Because it is just an honor and a pleasure to really just get on here and speak to each and every last one of you all. So once, hello, everybody, our listening audience. Rejoice 904. Let me tell you something before we even dive in today. Go to BYOB movement Jacksonville.eventbrite.com. I'm telling you, you want to make sure you're in a place we're having a tour this weekend. You want to make sure you show up. You want to make sure you show out. You want to make sure you come and just really understand how you could be your own bank. But rejoice904.com. Definitely want to say hello to all of you all, and then to our listening audience around the world, because we're streaming. See, this is where the technology tried to get us. They didn't want y'all to come to these events. I'm telling you, it's something. Because also in Milwaukee, we're doing the same thing on the same day. You just got to show up just a little bit earlier, because theirs starts at 12. Ours starts at 12. Theirs starts at 10. So you want to make sure that you show up, because the good news is being spread around the world. But if you're listening to us, no matter where you're looking in from, YouTube, right? Facebook, the Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, where are you watching? Share this and share. But hello, everyone. I love you all. Dr. B.
Yes, Miss Dyer. Yes, Bishop Robinson. Yes, audience, listening, viewing, Rejoice 904 international listeners. Let me begin by saying that this is how rumors get started. It was an analogy. Mr. Gerald D. Rogers is not dead. He is alive and well, and will absolutely join us next Tuesday for our show. So welcome everyone to another round of having an opportunity to discuss.
Dr. B, because oh my
God. Exactly. So welcome everyone to our show, and we look forward to this conversation.
I'm just excited that to have my two business partners with me, Dr. Bywood and Ms. Dyer. We're so excited. We have a passage of scripture that we sent out late last night. And Ms. Dyer, did you get that text message?
I did, and I finally got it back up with all the technology stuff. I got it back. So,
You got it back up?
yes, I do.
Any
So,
big words in it?
We're gonna pray. See, Bishop, you full of shade today, boy.
It's hot up in Carolina. You need some shade.
I'm just saying, goodness, Bishop starting early. So for truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it. Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what is sown in their heart. This is the seed sown along the path. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 160 or 30 times what is sown.
Wow, that's exciting. And this passage is exciting to me because the disciples ask the same question that many times we are asked. Why are you wasting your time with this you're trying to give this information to these folk? And Jesus in verse 12 of the same passage answers that question. He says, you have the information, they don't have the information. You understand the information, they don't understand it. And he says, whosoever has the information shall have abundance. And that's what I want folk to hear from us today, that this information that we're trying to share results in abundance in your life if you apply it. And so Jesus addresses the fact that we have to be open to hear information, and not only hear the information, but receive it in our heart, so that our mindset would be appropriate for abundance, because he says those that have will continue to have, and those that don't have, I think this is amazing, those who don't have will continue not to have. It'll be taken away from them if you don't have the information. You know, you can have money for a short period if you don't have the information on how to handle the money that the Lord allows you to have. And Jesus makes that clear in this passage. You have the cash, but you don't have the information to appropriately handle the money, and poof. Sometimes people wonder what happened. I'll go in the barber shop all the time. Guys talk about the money they used to have and can't give an account, a real genuine account of what happened to the money that they saved they had. Ms. Dyer.
Well, that's unfortunate. That's why, I mean, it's the same thing. Why do so many people win the lottery and then they're broke? You know, because financial education is not something that we typically receive. And so many people, one of the things that we teach is chasing skill set. You chase knowledge, you chase understanding, you chase growth, you chase personal development, you chase all of those things, and guess what? The money will come. But when you chase dollars, you never have it. You're always seeking, searching, and as you never obtain it, like you will never receive it. And so, you know, one of the things we have to do is stop allowing that to be our story. You know, you mentioned like, oh, I had, because we don't know what to do with it when we have it. We don't understand we don't understand finances. We don't understand trying to manage it. We don't understand those things. And if we don't understand those things, then the reality is, you know, what now? What's going to happen? You know, what are you going to do? Your life is not the same. And so you want to make sure, and you know, just like it says, some 100, some 60, some 30, right? People are going to do with it based on their personality. But the reality is when it falls on you, we want to make sure it's falling on good soil. When it falls on you, you want to cultivate that ground. You want to make sure your soil, who you are, is ready to receive, because that's why we end up broke. That's why we end up not having it, because it's your personal soil. So the money can fall on you, but if your soil is not right, if you're not right, it's not going to stay. So you want to make sure you cultivate that soil, cultivate who you are, and then that's when you're going to be able to reap the rewards that we're talking about.
Absolutely, Dr. Byfoot.
You know, this is such a very interesting and, as always, timely subject. And I want to give two quick references. First, someone sent to me yesterday a gentleman who won $30,000 in the lottery, and he used 20,000 of it to purchase a gold chain.
What?
And then shortly thereafter, he was robbed by two people in his neighborhood. So it's not about the random crime.
That's a big wait. You can't just slide through that story.
Okay. So
is that real life?
It happened. It happened last week.
God. Oh my God.
So when we think about that, there's so many layers to that story. And one of the things we want to think about is that the person that was robbed was a vibrational match for that kind of activity. And it's not about getting robbed. It's about the mindset of you having something and you not being a vibrational match to it. And so it will go away. So those of us who are on this call who would not buy a $20,000 gold chain or would not take 2/3 of your money to do so, we still need to look at ways in which we allow ourselves to be without our money. And I will give you another example to put this in perspective. I had a conversation with a colleague of mine who I really respect. He used to be a part of our movement. He knows the BYOB cash out strategy and he knows it well. So he told me about a product that he's going to take advantage of, where you take $50,000, put it into an insurance product, and then you get to borrow against yourself at 7.65%. So he is bragging about the fact that he can get money. He can borrow money at 7.65%, where we can do one trade at 92%. We can risk 5% of our money on and make however many pips we make or however many points we make. So just think about that. Think about the fact that you would be willing to put $50,000 in an account, not get paid 7%, but to pay them 7% to use the money. Well, if you took that same $50,000 and put it in our product, think about what it would be. Just for a second, I really want to put this in perspective. Miss Anderson's 6 months for 6 figures. It starts with $500. And in 6 months, you have 6 figures. What if you took that 50,000 and put it in that spreadsheet? So is there really a difference between us non-judgmentally looking at the person who invested in the gold chain versus the non-judgmentally way in which we look at some of the decisions we make based on what institutions have told us? So food for thought here.
Yeah, Dr. Byfoot, you made me think about myself. I was laughing. I wasn't laughing at that young man. I was laughing because one time I was that young man. I went into a jewelry store and bought a $25,000 engagement ring. And when I got divorced, that ring did not belong to me. And so what I should have done is bought a cubic zirconium.
Bishop, no, sir. Sir. No, sir. You not gonna compare that. She deserved that at the time when you was, she deserved that ring. You wouldn't have got married.
She wouldn't have known a cubic zirconium, and that way, because it was explained to me by the judge that anything you bought before you got divorced, before you got married, belonged to her. After anything you buy after you get married, it belongs to the both of you. And so I lost my $25,000 investment in within a 7-year period. And so I think if I had to put that 25,000 into the market, I would have tripled it, or at least 10 times, or what it I had 250,000 by now. So I'm just.
I know when I get married, when he come, you better come correct. Don't bring no cubic zirconia, nothing.
He got these new manufactured diamonds and whatnot that they make in the laboratory.
I'm an investment. So
The comments made by the host of this show do not necessarily reflect the views of management.
I had to laugh. You got a comment in the chat that says he was robbed at the same store he bought the ticket. So
Oh, okay. So it's true. People have heard about it.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing that he got robbed like that. But sometimes you can buy insurance before you leave the store.
He had no money for no insurance if he's found.
He had 10,000 left, according to the way the story was told by Dr. Bythewood. He had 10,000 left, and so he could have bought insurance for $400 or $500, and they would have replaced it. Yeah, but that is absolutely crazy. But I have a friend who's over in Dubai, and she was texting me, telling me that the gold was really cheap in Dubai. Dubai, it is. Mm-hmm. And so maybe the next time we need to go to Dubai and we buy jewelry, it might be a smarter thing. All right.
Think about it. That goes back to soil, though. That goes back to, because you obviously, having walked in wealth and walked in understanding, you have a different concept and perspective of money. And so when you have that different perspective of money, right? When you have a different perspective, what happens is it fell on good soil. So if someone is willing to spend 2/3 of their money on a chain, he didn't like a chain, and it's 2/3 of his money, what kind of soil? So is he really financially planning or thinking about insurance and protections and things of that nature? No, he's not, because that's the soil that it fell on. So that's why, we really believe that this is a personal development journey as well. You have to cultivate the soil. You have to.
Yeah.
And if he's listening to our show, now he doesn't have the soil to be able to value his fiance. I'm just saying.
Because y'all giving us a bad about men out there. Let me tell you, men. If it's a woman you love, do not listen to them. Do not do it. Ain't no cubic zirconias. Don't do it.
Shopping channel. That's all I can say is a shopping channel.
Don't do it. You set them up. Bishop today set them up. But go ahead and let me get back on track. Let's talk about this soil.
Yeah. I didn't mean to get you all upset and all riled up like that.
Good.
But Jesus in verse 13 makes it clear that he could see that the individuals did not understand the parable. They didn't understand what it was he was trying to say. And so that's what I like about what we do day to day, week to week, month to month, is we have opportunities for questions and answers. We have opportunities for people to share with us, with us whether or not they understand, and to be taught the truth about these concepts. Because unfortunately, we have a lot of people who have no idea about trading. It's been hidden in plain sight. They don't understand the concept. When Dr. Bythewood mentioned a pip, he didn't say pimp, he said pip. And so, they have no idea what a pip is. What is that? And so, we just mention it, because it's a part of the language of the trading arena, and it has its own vocabulary that people have to become familiar with, so they can be comfortable with the concept of trading. And so, Ms. Dyer, can you share what we do when we find people who have a lack of understanding about money and how money really works in the market?
Well, if you have a lack of understanding, once again, we got to cultivate the soil, because the same way, if, let's go back to the guy with the chain. As soon as it came his direction, he didn't understand what to do with it. So if you have a lack of understanding and you're talking about how much does this cost? If you have a lack of understanding, you're talking about, so why do I have to pay for it? If you have a lack of understanding, that it's the soil. Because we invested so much. Like, he found value in that chain, right? He found value in that. Most people won't find value in that. But realistically, is what value is it in spending all of your money on something of that nature, like the bulk of your money? So if someone's not understanding, someone hasn't been around, like, it's all about value creation. There was some value is why he purchased it somewhere, whether it was a rap video, whether it was his environment, whether it was his friends, regardless of what it was, there is something that created value for him. And that's why he made the investment, because to him, it was an investment. So I'm not going to talk about, to him, it was an investment. So when you talk about that, and that's an investment, people spend money. It's never about money. It's never about that. People spend money on what they find value in. So if someone's never been exposed to this, our responsibility is to create value. Now, if the soil is ready, if the soil is being cultivated, then they will be open and ready to receive it. One thing we can't do is control the soil that it falls on. People have to want to cultivate their own soil. They have to want that internal change for themselves, because we would be your own bank. We provide the information. We provide the tools. We provide the resources. We provide them all, right? We provide it. But the reality is you have to, where do you find value and what type of soil do you have? And in the chat, it says that 30,000 could have been a 10% down on a home. That's not where he found value. And that's his soil. He once again, he don't understand that. So we got to cultivate that soil, right? We really got to cultivate that soil. And so this is a personal development journey. Remember, we don't get out of life what we want. We get out of life who we are. And when you understand that, then it'll explain a lot of things that you go through, the things that you have, and the things that you accomplish.
Dr. Bytewood.
Yes. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Jesus spends a lot of time in this passage talking about cultivating a mindset, and I know that's one of the topics that you have a lot of expertise in. Because Jesus talks about the heart, and he talks about the ears, and he talks about the sight, being able to recognize what you're looking at, and understanding the process. Talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Yes,
about
sir.
the mindset that Jesus is looking for.
So I think that it's very honest of Jesus to start this passage off by saying that you want to see it, but you don't. You want to hear it, but you don't. So what he's picking up on here is what we're talking about right now. And that is, there's so many beliefs that we have that really dictate the way in which we see the world. I had someone say this to me earlier today, that if you take a circle and you put a dot in the middle and you look around the circle, there are infinite possibilities in the way in which you see it, your perspective. And so what's happening here is that, like the example I gave about the gentleman in the insurance product, this is what we have been told our entire lives. These are the products that help. These are the products that put you in the best position. So even though I know how to do the BYOB cash out strategy, even though I've been proficient at it, I would rather put $50,000 into something where I can borrow against it rather than use it to, in a 92% accuracy rate, low risk reward ratio, make it be my own. So Jesus is saying to us that your mindset is right now that you see what I'm saying, but you don't see it. You hear what I'm saying, but you don't hear it. So what it speaks to, Bishop, is what you're saying to me, what you're asking me. We have to continue our personal mastery. We have to continue our personal development, because what personal development really does is it allows us to make our mindset closer to that of spirit, to make our mindset closer to that of God. I call it walking in the God space. So the higher we get to that God space, the more we're able to see what he is seeing, to hear what he is hearing. And then to Ms. Dyer's point, that's when the soil becomes such that the seeds can be planted, not on a short-term basis, as it says in the scripture, but on a long-term basis where we can make good decisions. And I plan on going back to that person and saying again to them the inefficiency of doing that versus doing what you already know. But I knew that he wouldn't be able to see it when I said it. He wouldn't be able to hear it when I said it. But I will go back and the soil will be different because let's be honest, and this is important for all of us who are exposing disinformation to people in our circle. The first response is always defensiveness. The first response is always, why not? Bishop, let me give you another example snatched from the headlines of my life. I used to be a professor of a young lady from the Philippines who was an insurance executive. And when I was making some of the mindset points that I'm making right now, she pulled me to the side and said, I want to share this with you because you don't know how accurate you are. She said that in her insurance company, every person that answers the phone is taught to say no. Because no matter what they ask, no matter what the request, no matter what the scenario is, say no. Because only a small fraction of people are going to keep asking after you say no. So this is not anti-insurance company, it's pro us understanding how important it is that we have the right mindset. Because when you know what you know, when you believe what you believe, then you're going to be able to see through the nose and put yourself in a position to get the wealth and abundance that you deserve.
Bishop, you are muted.
Again. Oh, there I am. And that's a great word, Dr. Byfoot. I really appreciate that word of encouragement. Somebody put on the Facebook today. It's all right for me to look at Facebook. I know you can't look at any other kind of news. So I looked at Facebook, and somebody said that wealthy people plan for generations. Did you do that, Mr. Dara? Was that you?
Absolutely, wealthy people plan for generations.
Yeah.
But before we even get there, guess what? Since the bishop don't never know, did the bishop know that the visionary showed up?
I see the visionary. I see him, and I'm excited that he decided to spend a little time with us on today.
Bishop, look at you, man.
What's going on?
Looking all handsome over there, man.
Yes,
What's going on in South Carolina?
Anytime, suck up to me now. Look at talking about how handsome I am. One of the things we don't have to comment on is the obvious of Mr. Rogers. So I didn't talk about anything. I didn't say anything about Miss Dyer's new hairdo and how dolled up she is, because it's obvious. People can just see that. And so
But you did ask me about the reading and the words, so I'm just saying.
I just asked you, was you okay to read that with any big words in the passage, because Mr. Rogers wasn't here to help you with the words.
Really?
Mr. Rogers, how are you today?
I'm good, but Bishop, I did want to chime in. I saw that what you said too, and you on point, because it said the wealthy plan for 3 generations and poor people plan for what's going on Saturday night.
Saturday night, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Did you see that? You want to comment on that? That's a mindset issue.
Yeah, it's definitely a mindset issue, and even what everybody's, what we're talking about right now. I did get an opportunity to hear the conversation, and it just unlocking and having the ears to hear what truth and even what Dr. Bythewood said. And, there's a lot of concepts out there when we talk about BYOB banking. Sometimes there are a methodology out there regarding infinite banking, where you take the opportunity to put your money into an insurance policy, and then you allow, the thought behind that is you get an opportunity to get your money tax free. But like Dr. Bythewood said, with our compounding sheet, and understanding that the skill set that we're sharing with individuals is really exactly what all of the institutions are doing. So we are in alignment with, what that concept is. And we're just simply saying, instead of that institution doing it, whoever it may be, then it behooves you to do it for yourself. Because, even if the scenario that he shared with, I'm going to put $50,000 up, and then I'm going to pay 7.5% on my own money, when you can get the compounding effect on the front end and not have to be concerned about on the back end. So it's just understanding, unlocking that understanding.
This thing, absolutely. I keep hitting the come off of mute and it goes twice. Ms. Dyer, I'm on my what is this, HP, and I'm having problems with it. Ms. Dyer's Apple was hacked, and
Don't be speaking that kind of stuff into existence. The app would not open. The Zoom app would not open. That does not mean that you don't put that in my computer. Bishop, you have a good time today.
Yes, I mean, Mr. Rogers. Now, we talked about bad investments on jewelry, and we have to be consistent about that. If it's a bad investment to spend $30,000 on a chain, wouldn't it be a bad investment to spend $30,000 on an engagement ring?
Oh, you want to bring him into this?
Bishop.
Ooh, Bishop. He's our visionary. He's my leader. If he say don't do it, I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, Bishop. Well, let me. I'm gonna take the PC road today, right? So, well, sometimes investments have an intangible effect and value. However, I'm always, and I'm sure you can have that conversation with that spouse to understand that we're going to take that same $30,000 and multiply that, and at some point we would reward ourselves. But if you're not in a position to monetize it, then I don't think you should make that investment under the pretense of it not growing. But if you're in a position to do it, then celebrate your success. But the average person, that's probably not a wise investment. I wouldn't agree with you.
30,000, but it has to be some thousands.
Well,
that's definitely an investment. Now he wants to do.
I'm gonna tell you, like my dad told me.
Cubic zirconia, talking about no, don't come right or don't come.
Oh my God.
Well, I was just saying.
We got a new guest on today, Bishop. I'm like, that. We got a new guest on now, so we don't hit a nerd. You know what I'm saying? Ms. Dyer got a new stylist now and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Look like that tomorrow.
So Bishop, she must be in the market for a diamond.
No, whoa, don't put me, don't do it to them. Don't set nobody up for failure.
She told on herself, but she jumped out on that thing so fast that the Bible didn't have a chance to breathe or anything.
No, the reality is just because I'm telling you when you come correct, do not mean I'm marketing myself, because all I know is my value. I know my value. So when you know your value, you don't play them games. You bring a cubic zirconia and you go right back home. Period. That's it.
Well, I'm still wounded from what the judge told me. I thought that was my ring until I got up there. The judge said, "Oh no, you gave it to her before you married her, and so it's hers. Anything you bought after that, you bought it. Both of it belong to you, but after the wedding. But before the wedding, it belongs to her." And so my thoughts are, you give them a cute zirconium during the engagement process. Then if you get married, then you replace it with a real one.
Let me know when you find her, Bishop.
Hey, but on a lighter note though, guess what? We just it was an article on Tiffany Haddish, and I guess her and Common are dating each other. And she actually made that declaration. She said to him, instead of buying me a ring, buy me an apartment complex.
Yeah.
So there is some validity on both sides of the equations.
She didn't say buy me a cubic zirconia. Well, let's say what Bishop said. But I'm with the investments. I'm with growing together. I'm with investing together. I'm with doing all of that. But if you're gonna come correct. If you're gonna pull a ring out, then it need to be real. Don't play those games.
Wow. Lord have mercy. I guess I'm gonna go to the mourners bench next week.
Me got quiet.
Yeah, I unmuted, but you guys were going to town. But I would like to give my thoughts on this subject. So one of the reasons why him buying the gold chain was an issue is because it represented 2/3 of his available money. So from a percentage perspective, it might not have been the best investment. And we all know that Bishop Roderson's response wasn't intellectual, it wasn't financial, it was emotional. That brother was expressing his pain, and we understand that. That's real.
Absolutely.
But as a man who was raised by a single mother, as a man who was a single father of 3 little girls, I think that the solution here is not to lower the quality of what we give a woman. The solution is to raise the quality of the way in which we approach relationships. And so I am a man who has been married twice. So I am not an expert in the issue, but I am an expert in the fact that when we do things on a high vibration, when we do things with the empowerment piece of the Be Your Own Bank movement, when we operate in that level, then we put ourselves in a financial position where 25,000 doesn't mean anything. So I would expect the man to come to my girls with 100,000. With 125,000, with 25 million. So it's not about the value of the ring. It is about us ringing true to the principle that God is love. And we show our love in a way.
No, I'm co-signing. Before y'all chime in, I know we done changed the whole topic of this show, but I'm co-signing with Dr. B because it's about the value. If you say, hey, let's go do X, Y, and Z, you say, hey, let's go do this, and we going to do something. But if you devalue and you think you coming with some fake stuff, you can take that up out of here. So no. Thank you, Dr. B. No.
Oh, Dr. B, you're so sweet, Dr. B. I appreciate you. You representing, brother. You representing.
No, you don't cut.
Well, what I want to know is why nobody's saying let's change the laws about the ownership.
Bishop, you need the ring back. You still want the ring back? What you was gonna do?
Or a therapist?
Oh. I've had several of those. I use them to make them retire or resign or something. I'm so complicated.
I'm just saying, Dr. Right? I'm just saying, Bishop.
Yeah.
I'm sure you bought it because you thought it was an investment at one point.
No, it wasn't an investment. I just wrote a check for it.
You thought it was an investment when you bought it.
At that time, that wasn't a whole lot of money to me. That was
okay. So that's why
that was less than half of what I made a week. So I mean, it didn't mean nothing.
So it was nothing. That's what a cubic zirconia will cost to some people. So that's what I mean. It's about, you can't come to nobody with no cubic zirconia because of what happened in your past.
Well, I got to get my past cleaned up, get my mindset back right.
Let's cultivate your soul. Let's cultivate.
Yes. So anybody out there wants to volunteer to do some counseling, just let me know. Recommend counseling.
So I gotta read the chat. So are you having attachment issues from the ex-wife or the ring?
What was that question? I didn't hear you. It was laughing too fast.
It said, are you having detachment issues from the ex-wife or the ring?
The money. I'm thinking about what I could have done with the money, because Dr. Bible said I could have put that into my investment account and triple it. And so, that's the real question that I think we were addressing is that the smartest way to spend your money or invest your money? Invest your money.
Yes. Yeah. No. But seriously, I said an engagement ring. Yes, absolutely. That's the smart way to spend your money. But seriously, when you're talking about we're having a good time, right? We're laughing and joking about it. But the reality is what we don't understand and what we have to really kind of shift that mindset is we compound all the time, right? We do it every day. You know, we're talking about, like, one of the comments said he could have taken that and bought a house or put a down payment on a house. The reality is we do that, and we know that like a $200,000 house, $300,000 house, how much do we pay for that house at the end? Like, how much do we really pay for it? So it's not $200,000. We know that. If it was, then why would we be able to make an extra payment and then turn around and pay it off in half the time? So the understanding has to be that what we should be seeking is knowledge and understanding and cultivating that soil. Because if I can compound out and we don't even question it, that's the thing. We accept it as the natural. We accept it as the norm. We understand that that's life, right? We don't question that. So why should compounding in sound so foreign? We compound out without thinking about it. We compound out without questioning it. How many times do you swipe your credit card? Dr. B did a whole class on how to take advantage of it, get your money back, like the whole talk with the finance doctor on understanding using a credit card. But we know you swipe the card for $10, you might pay $20, depending on how you pay it back. You might pay $15, $12, but we're compounding out. So compounding in should not be foreign. So you can take $500 and instead of, you know, thinking that, oh, I got to compound average investment portfolio. What are we at, about 8%? If you do 12, you're doing excellent. And I'm talking about a year. So if I can do that a day, just imagine we wouldn't be sitting here talking about we can buy the apartment complex and we could buy the engagement ring. If we understand that we have to shift our mindset and compound in and go on a nice honeymoon. I'm just saying.
My. Miss Dye, you telling on yourself here. You
I ain't telling
talking
no
honeymoons and engagement rings.
No. What I have is requirements and expectations. That's not telling on myself. So if I have requirements on expectations, that means I'm not lowering my standards, period. That's what that means. So that's all that means. I have requirements and expectations. That does not mean I'm on the market. God gonna bring me who's supposed to be with me. So let's make sure we all understand that I don't market, I don't solicit, I don't do none of that. It says when a man finds a wife.
Breathe.
That's what it said.
Trade whisper. Relax your shoulders, as Dr. Biden would say. Relax.
Mr. Rogers.
Understood.
Mr. Rogers.
Give him one of my gummies.
Mr. Rogers and Bishop Robinson, would I make this radio program easier if I just asked her to marry me on the air? Thank you, Well Connected. The Well Connected said, that's my mentor, period. She said, don't come for her. Yes, thank you. Now, I just have to make sure we make it clear that Bishop is off target. We are not marketing the trade whisperer. So to our listening audience, that is not what's happening. So that's a no? Is that a no?
Well, that wouldn't be to our advantage to do that because, you know, whoever that individual might require you not to be on the
wait, what?
On the Zoom, might require you not to be on the Zoom as much as you are now.
I can't hear you. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Clowning today.
See, that's a problem. If he can't run with me, he can't run with me.
Can two walk together except they agree? Yeah.
So he can't run with me. He can't run with me.
Y'all are clowning today. Yo, listening audience, we are having a blast. But hey, this is real life. This is really your thing. We talk about investing. We talking about value, and obviously, you know, I'm a recovering addict from sports enhancement, and you know, I'm just looking at all these new stadiums that have been erected. You know, the Las Vegas Stadium, $2 billion. Los Angeles State is SoFi Stadium. I mean, I'm talking about some beautiful, beautiful things. So I am in agreement with Ms. Dyer. It's really about, you know, the value proposition. And none of those stadiums were empty. None of those stadiums were empty over the last several days. I mean, across the board, whether it's collegiate sports or professional sports. So as Ms. Dyer said, you know, we've always been compounding out. it's really not a compound end. And so I want to encourage our listening audience to get with us and be on this financial crusade and this journey and flip the narrative. So whether you have a desire to purchase a cubic zirconian or a real diamond ring, just be in a position. Just be in a position to do it. Because if they love you, if they really love you, they're going to appreciate whatever you presented to them.
Lies you tell.
That's it.
No, so wait, you got third time's a charm, Doc. Then it say BYOB Trade Comedy Jam. She ran 4 miles a day. Laugh out loud. So we got comments coming in. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the Pimp Master co-signed and she said no. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Lord Jesus. Had an opportunity today to go, Mr. Rogers, you mentioned the facilities. I was in Athens, Georgia today looking for some property. And a friend of mine who was showing me the different available properties. At one time, he was the guy who took care of the stables for the polo ponies. And he worked for the University of Georgia. And he said, man, look at this. This is the largest veterinary school in the world. They paid $100 million for this facility. And I said, wow, $100 million for medical facilities for cats and dogs. And there are some countries that wouldn't even think about having a facility like this. A place in the world, they don't have places like this, close to places like this for live people. And so it's a matter of where we place our values. You know, when we think about there are sick people in this country, in little small towns where they don't even have hospitals, but they got this big $100 million facility for horses and cows and elephants. And I'm saying, wow, I mean, that's value. What is that? The kind of, that's how, is that where our values are? Is that where we invest our money? Is that the right place where we put our money? What's going on?
Well, I wouldn't say that's where we invest our money because I don't find value in it, right? But some people do. And what I'm not gonna knock where somebody finds value. What I am gonna do is make sure we focus on, well, for me, let me say for me, the focus on the cultivating of the soil, right? What the whole topic is. Because I don't think that, one thing I've always disliked is when we make comparisons like to certain things. Like you doing this, but you could be doing that. You know, you're doing this, but you could be doing that. Like they're doing, you know, and so when we start doing those type of comparisons, as why can't we do it all? Why can't we take care of the horses and take care of people? Why can't we allow them to have, I mean, if you think about it, they're there, that might be their bread and butter. It might be, you know, things that they need to make money. It might be recreational activities. It might be therapeutic. It's so many different things that it could be. It could be how they make money, right? So it's so many things that it could be, but yet let's, you know, as opposed to why not do this, why do that, you know, how about we put everybody in a position to whatever their heart's desires, they can actually accomplish that. You know, that's just something that I think that's a human nature thing that we, you know, that's how we are as people. And that's a personal thing that I've always tried to shift. Like, instead of saying, well, why do they do this? And why do they do that? When they could be doing this, as opposed to putting everybody in a position where, and that's why, you know, part of why this movement is so important to me. Let's put everybody in a position to where they can leverage and live, do what's on their heart. Because everybody has a dream, a goal, a personal desire or something. And if we put people in a position that they can do it, this is the vehicle to take you where you want to be. That's what this is.
Let me chime in on that real quick. I know we're at the top of the hour. So I talk about that all the time too, Ms. Dyer, and I use my own personal, professional life to talk about it. Professors make multiple choice exams. And the question or answer that people hate the most is all of the above. Mm-hmm. And I always think that's the answer to everything. It's never either or, it's never this or that. It's always all of the above. And when you do it that way, God will provide you the resources to do both, to do all. And again, this is the vehicle that can get you there.
Completely agree.
Absolutely. And just want to provoke some thought today. And I think I've done
You
a
did
fair
good.
job of doing that. And I hate to leave right now. I got some more of that, more to that one, but the time, we have about a minute or two left. So we're gonna let Ms. Dyer go ahead and share our contact information and how people can be a part of what we do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this has actually been a really fun broadcast. Let me just thank our listening audience. Let's thank our, Bishop, our visionary, Mr. Rogers, Dr. Bythewood, our finance doctor. But I'm going to tell you right now, right? I'm going to tell you right now. You want to know more about this movement? We're a family. We like to have fun. It's fun. We can make money and have fun. We have the best of both worlds, right? So we just have the best lives, the best times, the best of all of it. And you can definitely be a part of this. So text BYOB, yes, BYOB to 55469. Text BYOB to 55469. Also, you want to make sure that what you definitely want to do is go to our YouTube page. Be Your Own Bank Movement. So write it out, type it out, spell it out. Be Your Own Bank Movement. Go to our YouTube page. You want to subscribe. And what's going to happen tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Let me tell you, we have a phenomenal educator, someone who has definitely been featured in Success from Home magazine 10 times. We have someone who is walking in excellence and living her life to the fullest. Someone is coaching and mentoring, and you understand why she's a part of this movement, having tremendous impact. And what you're going to do is you're going to understand what this movement is all about, understand what we're talking about as far as money. Then we're going to show you how to go get it. You want to make sure you're tapped in. You want to make sure you're tuned in. Go subscribe and then reach out to us. Make sure, because what we're going to do is help you get on the other side. And then Dr. B, the one co-signing, having my back today, he is also on with a talk with the finance doctor. So you definitely want to make sure, right? We're definitely supposed to make sure that you are in tune and you are in place tonight. So with that, we love each and every last one of you all. I will see you tonight. And reach out. Throw us a flag. Do something. Say, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to accept the challenge to be my own bank.